Well, Claire, are we ready to go? Are we ready to go? Okay, let's do this. We're going to market. And this little heart was given to me by my sweetie. So I think we're going to do a video about our budget here in the Philippines. And today is a good day to do it because today's market day. And every day we go to the Valencia market to kind of top off on all of our veggies and maybe little fruits. Hey guys, Dave here with One Man's Paradise. And today we're going to do a little bit of a vlog video about Philippines budget. You see so many videos out there like this one, and that one, and this one, and that one. And they're all telling you that the budget is different things. And I think people get really confused sometimes that a budget is not some universal set of numbers that everyone can live by. And what it really comes down to, and this will be the too long didn't read or too long didn't watch version, however much you make, however much you have coming in, that's how much it costs to live here. Because that can be your maximum budget. The more you have, the more you can get. I mean, it depends on what your plan is. Do you want to recreate the West, the lifestyle, the way of living, the eating out, everything? Do you want to do that here? For me, the answer is no. I did not want the same lifestyle as I had in the West. I mean, that's why I left. If I wanted it, I go to a state. And so it was, oh well, the reason you came to the West was or the East is to meet a Filipina, and find a partner that you couldn't find in the West. Well, there's some truth to that. There's no doubt about it. The truth of the matter is, one day, well, it wasn't one day. It took a year or so, but my health degraded, and my working got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't. I've got a few conditions that really caused me a lot of trouble. And so I thought, okay, well, I've got to look at retiring. And so I looked at the early part of it, the early retirement. I thought, oh my God, I can't live here in the U.S. on that. No way. I can't live on that. What am I going to do? So I started looking at different options, what have you. And there was no options. It was either work or find the slummiest, scariest, and live the most meager life. And even then, if I needed medications or things, I'd be in trouble because I just would not have what it would take to get that. So there you are, stuck between a rock and a hard place. And that's when I started looking, at options. What are affordable retirement options? And I saw some things about the Philippines. And my cousin, Kyle, hi Kyle, he had mentioned in the past few years that his goal was to retire in Thailand. And he had explained to me why. And I thought, I don't know, going that far away from everybody and from the U.S. and what have you, I don't know if that's just such a good idea. And so I never really gave it a thought. I just thought he was crazy. He was just going in for girls, blah, blah, blah. But then I started really looking at this retirement thing. And what I found is that the cost of living here is less. And in comparison to what you get in the U.S., it's a lot less. A lot less. And so we're going to go over that today. We're going to go over my budget. But I just wanted to start with that when you see all these budgets out there, you say, how in the world can one person say $650 and another person say you can't make it unless you have a minimum of $3,000? Truth is, they're all right and they're all wrong because that's their budget. Your budget is yours. So I think what people really want to find out when they consider budgets and they're looking at these videos are they want to know what things cost and what that price gets them so they can compare it with what they are getting now, how much they're paying, and get an idea of what their income can provide. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, if you ain't making 2,000 or 3,000, then just don't even forget about it. There's no way. You can't make it anywhere." Well, dude, I'm sorry. If you're only getting 1,500 a month from your retirement, and there's a lot of people that only get that much, um, you have to make do. That extra money ain't coming from nowhere. And yeah. So, can you live here on 1,500 a month? Yep. Can you live here on 650 a month? Yep. It's proven. I mean, it's out there. You can see it. Can you spend 3,000 a month or 5,000 a month here? Absolutely. It just depends on what you want to live and how you want to live your life. Now, let's give you for instance. If you want to eat out every day, okay, you don't cook, you don't know how to cook, you don't want to cook, and you have no plans of, meeting a Filipina and having someone who will cook for your family, then, hey, you're going to spend more money on eating out. Now, what does that entail? Well, you can eat out here dirt cheap. I mean, you can go and get a meal for $1.50. I mean, literally. Now, it's going to be the Filipino food. You're going to get some adobo or some kind of chicken dish or vegetable dish that has vegetables in it that you're not used to and you may not like. But you can find food here that is actually pretty good and fairly inexpensive. $1.50, $2 will get you a meal. Now, will that also buy you a beer and dessert and what have? No, it won't. But you can go buy a beer here for about $1, and you can get a dessert for about $1, 50 cents maybe sometimes. Or you can find one out there that's $8. I mean, it just depends on where you want to go and where you look. So when we talk about budgets, let's stop comparing, and let's talk reality. So we're going to break this down into the main categories of cost. The first and major category for most Westerners would be housing. How much does rent cost? A lot of people will rent. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Excuse me. And other people may decide to buy a condo, and there's nothing wrong with that too. And here in the Philippines, you can purchase and own a condo. But just like in the U.S., condo living and the fees and the restrictions and what have you are the same. I mean, the positives and negatives are the same. So, but if you're going to rent, you say, well, how much is rent? Well, I mean, how much you got? It's the exact same. You can come here and you can find a small one-bedroom studio apartment for, gosh, I mean, 6,000 pesos, 8,000 pesos. You may even do better than that. I don't know. I've never really looked that hard because I didn't need to. My budget allows me to go a little bit more. So I don't have to, necessarily look for the very bare minimum. But I've seen people out there talking about, getting places for, 3, 4, 5,000 pesos a month. What does that include? I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you what I found for me. And when I first got here, I had Carol, a real estate, and let's just call her a business entrepreneur. And she's involved in a lot of things like car rental and bike rental and houses and things like that. And she took me around. And the first couple of places she took me, I'm like, I'm I'm not going to live here. There's just no way. It was maybe down a long kind of a dirt road. I remember one place that actually the apartment looked nice and inside looked nice, but the front yard was just grass and field, and I think there was a cow or two there. And so I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if that's something that I would want to live there. I just don't want to, deal with the weeds and the driving and the, whatever. I just didn't want to do that. And I think it was around 12,000 pesos, something like that. And so we looked some more and came across the place that I'm in now. Um, I like it very, very much. It's in a wonderful location. It is out a little bit, but close. I mean, within 3 minutes, I can drive into Valencia. The apartment was brand new, just completed, and I got a one bedroom with pretty much furnished, I guess, everything but like dishes and things like that. Because it had a bed, it had a coffee table, end tables, TV. Um, it included Wi-Fi. It included water. And the things that I was going to be responsible for paying would be the electric and the buy the gas bottles for cooking. Moved up here a little bit. Get closer to the girls when they come back. Um, where was I? Tail getting old. So yeah, I really like the apartment. I only pay those two things. It did come with, like I said, the Wi-Fi, which is amazing. Um, and the house was plenty roomy. It had a separate bedroom, so it wasn't actually, it was like a studio all in one room, but it had a separate bedroom, which was decently sized. It's not very big compared to Western standards, but it was roomy enough. And the bathroom was nice, roomy, had a hot water heater. We had aircon in the bedroom, and yeah, it was just a nice place. I don't know, what can I say? It came with only one little gas burner. Um, had plenty of parking space. It was gated. I could lock it. Had a little yard area, which was nice. The price, 15,000 pesos. Now, depending on the exchange rate, um, that can change from here to there, but I'll put it up here how much that is today. So there you go. Rent is probably your biggest savings here by far, but it is such a big savings. Literally, the remaining money difference in rent from the U.S. to here can pay for the rest of your expenditures. Next, you have your utilities. Now, you'll find that Wi-Fi, I guess it depends on where you're at in the U.S., but I'm finding the Wi-Fi is about half as much as what it was in the U.S. Um, Electricity is about the same, maybe more. I'm going to say more, but it's kind of hard to say because I've never really had a window air conditioner, and the one I have isn't really efficient. So I'm thinking about maybe swapping that out and putting in one that's better. I wouldn't have to do that, and in the U.S. you wouldn't. You say, oh, what, that belongs to them. They got to do that. But here, the savings is so good that you can determine if that's more of a savings to you, and it might be in the long run to, um, purchase your own things um, as you go along. So, but I right now I'm paying approximately 9,000 to 10,000 pesos a month for electricity, and which seems high. I mean, you're looking at about $180 maybe. Um, my neighbors, they say they spend between 3 and 4K. But it depends on how much aircon you use. If it's on all the time, mine is on 24/7. I don't like a lot of heat. I just don't. And so that's my choice. That is where I'm talking about lifestyle makes a big difference, because if you are the type of person say, you know what, I can get by with just a fan for a while and turn it on from time to time, or maybe not at all, you could save 8,000 pesos a month in electricity. That's a lot. Really, here when you're talking about a tighter budget. So yeah, lifestyle makes a big difference here. But for me, I really like the comfort of aircon. I like it air conditioned. I like a fan running all the time. I sleep with a fan. So yeah, that's an acceptable cost of living increase for me. The gas bottles, it's like 1,200 pesos, and that lasts me 3 to 4 months, maybe 3 months. Let's say 3 months, and you're right at about $21 is what that would cost in U.S. That's not bad. Yeah, $7 a month in gas. The water's paid, so that's okay. You do pay for drinking water, and that runs me, I don't know, 100 pesos a week, maybe. So that's not too bad. I mean, that's cheap. And you basically have, bottled water delivered to your apartment, because the water here is not really potable. You don't want to drink it straight from the faucet. I have heard of people installing reverse osmosis um, filtering systems or what have you, and I don't know. I mean, that might be just fine. But for me, just having it delivered is cool. You're gonna have a phone. The system they do here a lot is the phones are based on load, which are basically like you load up the phone with so many minutes, or a plan, and that can be cheap. It can cost you 100 pesos, which is $2, give or take, and get you it depends on how much you use your phone, and get you a decent amount of voice and text. But if you start using Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, but internet, it'll start going up a little bit on you. So it just depends if you have Wi-Fi at home and how much you're away from home and what have you. But in general, you're going to spend $20 to $40 a month for a phone and service. Me, I spend about $23 a month. I have Google Fi. It is still my U.S. number, but it's I still get access here in the Philippines. It does not cost me extra. It's my regular plan, my regular data plan. I get a gig for that, a gig a month. And I don't use it because I'm not out with my phone a lot. I'm kind of a homebody. I spend a lot of time at home, and I have Wi-Fi, so I really don't use my data that much, except for if I'm here, or at the market and I'm watching a video or something, or whatever. Um, so utilities are um, less expensive, but not by a lot. Um, Especially the electric. Electric's kind of crazy. All right, so we've got rent and we've got utilities. What about food costs? That's our next big expenditure. And what I can tell you is that without a doubt, you can save a lot of money here and eat better. The freshest of produce, absolute fresh meat. Um, but there's also, the opposite side of that. Someone has to cook it. It's not going to cook itself. Now you can hire someone to come and cook for you. Maybe you'll be in a relationship and that won't even be an issue at all. But if not cooking is, in one of the things like my aircon is for me, then you're going to spend more money. Without a doubt, you're going to go out and you're going to spend more money. There's quite a few fast food chains that you can go to. It's not quite like in the U.S. we have so many. Oh my God, so many restaurant chains and and then for for fast food stuff, you have your Burger King and McDonald's and Taco Bell and all these other things. Oh man, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But here you'll have things like a lot of chicken places, Crispy King, Chooks to Go, Mang in Asal. You will have some places that are kind of like our McDonald's, and there's McDonald's here too. But you'll find a thing called Jolly Bees, which is kind of like a Walmart version of McDonald's. It has everything pretty much. It has chicken, it has hot dogs, it has spaghetti, it has um, hamburgers, pretty much, McDonald's on steroids. And the food is better for the most part than McDonald's. There's no doubt about it. And it's less expensive than the West. I mean, you go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac, fry, and a Coke. And that combo meal is what, $9 now? I don't even know. $10? I just know before I left, I'd go and get breakfast there, and I couldn't get away from it for less than $6 or $7. And for lunch, it's $10 to $12 every time. And it's crazy. And I didn't even go there for dinner anymore because I could get a decent steak dinner from Texas Roadhouse for $22. Why would I pay $16 for dinner at McDonald's when for a few bucks more I get a steak dinner with baked potato and salad and all that? I miss those days. But not really. I mean, I really don't, because Kath is an amazing cook. And cook isn't even a good word. She's a chef. I mean, and she's not. She has no training other than what her mom taught her, how to make, the Filipino dishes. And a lot of these dishes, or all of these dishes that she makes for me, Western dishes, she never made before. She just has a palate. And she can taste it and go, it needs a little of this, it needs a little of that. And she makes absolutely delicious meals. It's just incredible. But if you eat out, you're going to spend more money. I mean, just like in the U.S. If you eat at home, it's going to cost you less money than if you eat out. But across the board, I would say you can eat for half of what you would eat in the U.S. for.
Okay, so let's go through these fruits and vegetables and let's see how much the prices are. Let's start with the cauliflower. Cauliflower is 200 per kilo, but sometimes we can get it for like as low as 80 pesos. Maybe it's the season, that's why it's a bit, the price is double. Next is the yellow banana, which is the banana that you just eat for snack or after you had your meal if you want. So this is, I think, 90 pesos per kilo. And we have another kind of banana. And guess what? This is also sweet. But you can snack on this right away, or you can use this for like baking uh, bread or cake, like banana bread, Dave's favorite. Is it? And then now that's for fruits. And yeah, we did not get carrots and some other vegetables because we still have some. Here's the famous green beans, snap beans. Yeah, this is 70 pesos per kilo. And since this is less than a kilo, I think I paid only like 50 pesos for this much. And then we have a head of cabbage, which I cut some. This is 20 pesos. 20 pesos. Let's move on to this cucumber. The cucumber is 60 pesos per kilo. So I have three uh, nice sizes, a nice size of cucumber, and it's about 1 kilo, so that is 60 pesos. Next is, what do you want? The onions? Onions is 120 per kilo. These are white onions, but this is good for like salad and uh, also for cooking. Next is the potato. Can you see the potato? Yeah, this is I think 120 per kilo. We get a lot of potatoes because we like using it for our mashed potatoes or double baked potatoes. And I think we're almost done with the vegetables. Let's move on to the famous mango of the Philippines. It's very sweet and fragrant. And I think this month is the season of the mango, so this is only 100 pesos per kilo. And when it's not in season, you can get it for like 280, 260. It depends. And look at this beautiful avocado. Can you see the size of this avocado? This is, they call it evergreen because the inside is almost green. And this also 100 pesos per kilo. And let me just show you how it looks like in the inside. So look at that. This is Dave's favorite for guacamole and other stuff. And yeah, we have a bag of orange for 100 pesos. And the avocado cost me around 200 pesos or maybe 180 for all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And tomatoes, I know Dave always say that our tomatoes are never quite as good as what you have in the West, but yeah, this is what we got. Here it's 100 pesos per kilo. And how about this? Bell peppers. Uh, we have greens because these are the only ones available there. And I paid like 50 pesos for all of this, or a dollar. And yeah, I think that's about it. Overall, we spent like 1,300 maybe for all of this, just for the vegetables. And if you do get eggs, like a tray of eggs will cost you 300 pesos. So yeah, that's our budget every Sunday for market. So more or less it goes up and down. And yeah, that's all. We just want to share with you guys what we got from the market today, and I'm very sure we already have shared the video of the market, so you can check it in our other videos.
What I found so far is that it is cheaper for me to get similar service here than in the West. And that's because, that's when I had insurance, because you have your co-pays and, all the tests would come in. You get all these bill after bill after bill and this, and it's so confusing. Well, you need this test, you need this test. And, the test costs $1,000, but, you only have to pay, thank goodness, $173, whatever. Here, it works differently. You walk into a hospital and go see your doctor. Generally they have their office in the hospital. You go up to them, you go to the room, talk to them. They say, okay, well, I think we need to get, blood labs, and let's get a chest X-ray and maybe a CT scan or whatever. Let's just say it's labs and an X-ray. So she was going downstairs, and here's the orders for them. Go and get these done. So it's kind of all on you. They don't like take you by the hand and walk you around the hospital and do everything for you. You then have to go down to either the department, like X-ray department, or to the cashier. Usually it's the cashier area. You take your little slips for the, basically which are, orders for your tests. And the cashier will then ring it up, and you will pay for that right then and there before even having the test. If you don't pay, you don't get it. It's simple as that. So they don't have all this, healthcare fraud and people not paying and collections and having to call people. You either pay or you don't get it. It's simple as that. You say, well, who the hell can do that? That's unbelievable. Anybody can. I mean, for the most part, for at least a Westerner, you should be able to. because you can go, first of all, to see your doctor will cost you maybe $15. Yeah, your doctor's visit's like $15. Now maybe that's better or worse than your copayment, but or maybe you don't have one, and that's that's an extra cost for you. But it's still, that's not very much to go see your doctor and pay $15. Sometimes that's $20. Depends on the doctor and what have you. And once you see the doctor, then you go and get your slips for whatever tests that they may require, and you pay for those. And those are cheaper. I mean, like the labs, I can't remember exactly, but it seems to me like the lab, unless you were really sick and haven't had that a lot of time, it's really not a huge huge long-term cost. Um, and then your medications, this kind of goes both ways. Some things are just a lot cheaper, like for instance, my inhaler. I had an inhaler for for my asthma, and it costs about $100 for one inhaler, which is good for 1 month. And here, that same inhaler was um, $25, something like that. I mean, it was a lot less money. And of course, there's a lot of things going on with trying to reduce the cost of medications in the U.S. But right now, that's the case. But then there's other things that, I used to go to Walmart and I'd get, they'd have that $4 prescription thing. And so I'd get my, acid reflux medicine, and it would cost me $4 for a month. And maybe a little less if I bought it every 3 months. And here it's still inexpensive, but, you know, it's probably not quite as inexpensive. I might end up paying more on a monthly basis. Because for $4, you're looking at about, 200 pesos? And it depends on the medicine. Some medicine may cost you 7 pesos per pill, and others may be 30 pesos or 50 pesos a pill. It really depends on the medication. So you can, expect to pay anywhere from $4 or $5 for a month to $30 a month or more for certain medications. So you may not save a lot there, but again, these are, when you start talking about medications, it is what it is. You have to have it, but it's definitely not going to be significantly more expensive unless you're a very rare case taking unusual medicines. Your cost will be similar or less. Let's put it that way, similar or less. So, it's a wash. So we've got healthcare, we've got medication, we've got our rent, we've got our food, we've got our utilities. Those are your bare minimums. You're going to want transportation added in there because you're going to want or need to get around some at the very least. The cheapest form of transportation around here is going to be getting a motorbike. You can get one for relatively inexpensive. Brand new ones are still, I mean, fairly cheap. I mean, compared to, other options. I bought a Toyota Wigo, which is a small compact car, not a subcompact, just compact car, little hatchback. And it was 12,000 US dollars. Plenty roomy, air cons, got the little dash, the video camera screen, and for GPS, and hooks to my phone, and I didn't go out of the way. I just got their basic model. I didn't buy everything that was available, and so I'm very happy with that. And for me, that works out great. I mean, I like I like the aircon, and it rains here a lot, so every other day it's going to rain, and so it's nice to be able to go do things without worrying about it raining. Um, So there's that. But the transport, then, when I pay, I want to say 2,000 pesos fills up my tank. And that lasts me 6 to 8 weeks. But again, I don't do a lot of travel. So, I mean, it's fairly low cost for me. Yeah. So that's my transportation. I bought a car for $12K, and I spent about, let's call it $25 a month, $30 a month on gas. And you get a little bit of it. You have your insurance, and you've got things like that come into play. But you'll definitely find the insurance less expensive here, by far less expensive here. I'll try and put it up there exactly how much I spend. And yeah, that pretty much covers that. I think the only other thing that that's an absolute must that you have to kind of plan for and pay for is your visa fees, which again is not a tremendous amount, but it adds to your budget, so you have to kind of plan it in there. And it's pretty much every 2 months you go in. It's going to cost you about 2,400 pesos, something like that. So that's 1,200 a month, or right around $20 a month, maybe a few bucks over, plus the time and gas to get there and back. So you can have your visa, valid for the entire time. I reckon that's it. I think that's it. Everything else is icing on the cake. Are you a big beer drinker? How many beers do you drink? 2 a day? 4 a day? 10 a day? I don't know. I probably average 1 or 2 beers a day. And, I like to have a beer once in a while. And each one costs me $1. So I spend $60 a month on beer, probably. Sometimes less, sometimes more. Just depends. Entertainment. Do you like doing a lot of travel? Do you want to come here and experience this place like a vacation? In other words, go around and see what it all has to offer and see the locations and all the beaches. That's awesome. That's perfectly good. But it's no different than if you're in the West. Can you afford it to do it in the West? And how often do you do it? Once a year? Twice a year? Once every other year? That's going to apply here for someone who's talking about living in the Philippines, not coming here and making it a long-term vacation. Because a vacation is expensive. And a long-term vacation, well, do the math. But if you come here to live, and you're talking about food and living and just, living a normal life, it's less. It's a lot less. And so I guess I just want to come down to this. Whatever you make, whatever you have coming in, whatever you have saved, it will go further here in the Philippines. No doubt in my mind. There's no argument to that. And when people say, "Oh, you only have 2,000 a month or 1,000 a month or whatever, you're a loser," whatever, dude. No one really cares that you were fortunate enough to get locked into an auto manufacturing job and worked for 30 years and you have $5,000 coming, or you're in the military and you have money coming from that as well, or whatever. Just awesome. That's so great for you. And I think most people would be very, very happy that you're in that position. I just find it very unfortunate that some expats would look down on others who don't have the same setup they do. But it doesn't matter to me because I could care less. I really could care less. I live a good life. I eat well. That's easy to tell. And I have an amazing family. A beautiful, younger, vibrant, sexy, loving, caring, considerate partner. And her daughter is amazing. I never had a daughter. I have a son. And the opportunity this has afforded me and the interaction I have with our daughter every day is just a blessing. It's just an absolute blessing. And I'm so happy that I have that opportunity. So I guess what I'm saying is if you want to know what the budget is here, all I can tell you is how much you got. Because you can live here on the money you have coming in, just like you can live in the US. You can live better here with some caveats. You're going to have to give up some things because they're just not here. You don't have that availability here. But that's not always a bad thing. Um, eating better is good for you. You're going to live longer, hopefully. None of us know how much time we got left on this earth, but I'll tell you what, whatever budget I've got, it's plenty here. And if you're worried about whether you can make it or not, dude, it's expensive to come here because of the flights. But if you take your time and plan ahead, you can get some pretty inexpensive flights. Maybe somewhere you get a round trip for maybe $1,500 if you watch the prices. Plan it out. Come here for a couple weeks. Enjoy it. Have an adventure. Get you a real estate person to walk around and find out, see what the prices are, and compare them to what you have. Check out the markets, find out what the prices are, and go from there. And once you have that data for yourself, and you've written down in your own paper, and you know exactly what you're going to get, where you're going to live, how much it's going to cost, and if it's a lifestyle that you can accept. Okay, guys, as promised, here is mine and Kath's monthly budget. We pay 15,000 pesos for rent, which includes Wi-Fi and running water. Our utilities run 12,280 pesos and includes electric, bottled gas, phone service, and drinking water. Our food and groceries for 3 people totals 24,000 pesos, which includes beef, pork, chicken, seafood, all our veggies and fruits, and a couple of trips per month to Hypermart for our non-food items and household items. For healthcare, I am only listing our monthly med requirements of 5,000 pesos. Everyone's health is different, and you should always have an emergency fund to cover unforeseen medical emergencies, doctor visits, and tests. We spend about 1,350 pesos on gasoline per month. It does not cover vehicle costs and will vary based on whether you choose a motorbike, a car, or rely on local services such as trikes and jeepneys. And lastly, the monthly cost of immigration fees for visa renewal and ACR card averages 1,466 per month. Our total monthly expenditures totals 59,096 Philippine pesos, or 1,061 US dollars. This does not include entertainment, clothing, and miscellaneous items that you may want to purchase. And I would highly recommend that once you have established your monthly minimum budget, that you add maybe 25% for these unincluded and unforeseen items, as well as maybe 10% more for savings. With this in mind, having a comfortable total budget of 1,400 USD is definitely doable. Keep in mind that this is a family of 3, my family. When I see someone like the expensive expat sharing a $650 budget, I can totally see this being achievable, as he lives alone and his lifestyle allows him to live more frugal than some. I can also see how some might spend 2,000, 3,000 or more in order to live a life more closely resembling that of their Western past. Again, this is our budget, not theirs, and certainly not yours. In the end, everyone somehow manages to live within their means, whether it be in the US or some tropical remote island. I hope sharing this budget is helpful, and please make sure to do your own due diligence and research. So that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you taking time to watch this. Cash should be coming any minute from the market. So, yeah, if you think that retiring in the U.S. is going to be tough, consider the Philippines, because you have a tremendous opportunity here to live better for less money, or live the same for less money. Then on top of that, you have the opportunity to potentially meet an amazing partner, because it is different here and not everybody's after your money. Although there are some that are. So I highly recommend you do your due diligence, do your research, and I think you'll find that the Philippines has a lot to offer. So thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that like button, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.